Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Pacific414 episode review, where I'm going to review the latest episode of Star Wars Vision, Lop and Ocho. Lop and Ocho takes place on a planet called Tau that's been taken over by the Empire, and you have citizens who are being oppressed. You also have non-citizens who have been brought to the planet who are also being oppressed, as we meet one of our main characters, Lop. Now she is furry, she's a rabbit, and when we first meet her, she's running through a marketplace with some food in her arms, and she also has a droid with her named TD. Now, when we first interact with her, she finds a place to sit, she's eating the fruit, and then at another part of the story, she ends up going into another section of the market where she meets Mr. Yasuburo and his daughter Ocho. Yasuburo stops Lop from taking some vegetables or fruit. I wasn't sure what it was, so it's a fruit stand. So you find fruits and vegetables at fruit stands, and Yasuburo stops her from taking it, and he makes an observation that Lop has a collar around her, signifying that she is being oppressed by the Empire, although he calls her one of the Empire's workers. He was impressed that she's able to get away, and at one point, his daughter Ocho says that Lop should become part of the family. They run toward a beach where Lop is washed off with water. They remove the restraint off of her neck, and it fast forwards a little bit to 7 years, where an Imperial base is under terrorist attack. Now, the reason why it's under terrorist attack is because Mr. Yasuburo and a few of his followers ended up causing this attack, which his daughter Ocho was vehemently against. She sees the Empire as being this great ally, great resource. If we have to sell out our world to be under the protection of the Empire, then so be it. Mr. Yasuburo doesn't see it that way. He says, we didn't need help from the Republic when the Republic was around, and we don't need any tyranny from the Empire, because that's what they're bringing here to our world. Tyranny. They've damaged our world's environment. They've polluted the water. They've polluted the atmosphere with their industrial machines. So you have a father and daughter who have a disagreement. Lop and Ocho end up going together in a land speeder away from Mr. Yasuburo, and they're on the speeder, they're on a bridge, and they're headed toward an Imperial check station where we see this Imperial officer, and that's where we find out that Ocho, being the sympathizer of the Empire that she is, has switched sides and joined the Empire. She cuts her hair. One of the other things she does is she bites her thumb, causing it to bleed, and she wipes it on her left and right eye, as you see in the trailers. Disappointed and upset, Lop runs away, ends up falling off a pipe, lands back into the market, runs all the way home, tells Mr. Yasuburo what happened. Mr. Yasuburo tells her to follow him, where he takes her into a room where he starts telling her the story about his family, about their descendants, and how at one point a Jedi a few hundred years ago arrived on the planet and left behind his lightsaber after this Jedi died. This lightsaber is a family heirloom. It was going to be passed down to Ocho. But since Ocho has decided to switch sides to the Empire, Mr. Yasuburo passes it to Lop and says, I know I've never treated you like I treated my own daughter, and to be honest, that's on me. That's a bad on me. It shouldn't matter whether you're my blood daughter or not. It shouldn't matter that we're two different species. You came into my home. I took care of you. My daughter took care of you. You became a part of our family. You deserve to be treated as such. So, Mr. Yasuburo passes the lightsaber to Lop, and then Mr. Yasuburo gets dressed in some ceremonial garb and ends up leaving on board a ship. The ship heads to the Imperial Industrial area where he was before. Lop and a few of the other followers stay behind at Mr. Yasuburo's home. There's a large explosion. One of the folks at the home says this has got to mean that Mr. Yasuburo's in trouble. Lop ends up running out of the house onto the land speeder, running toward the Imperial facility on this land speeder, even diverting her course to try to avoid detection by the Empire. At one point, her speeder is damaged and she ends up floating via an umbrella toward the lower portion of this Imperial base. She gets to the Imperial base where she sees a few of Mr. Yasuburo's followers fighting a few guards, a few stormtroopers. A few of these followers end up dying and being killed. Mr. Yasuburo is shocked to see Lop there as he's fighting Ocho, and that ends up giving Ocho the opportunity to strike her father. She ends up striking her father in the right eye, making him blind. Because what I didn't say, and I should have said earlier in this review, is that Mr. Yasuburo had a scar over his left eye from a previous battle. He also had a scar on his chest. So Lop is running toward Mr. Yasuburo. Of course, Ocho's not happy to see her there, and she's especially not happy to see Lop when she finds out that Lop is now in possession of the family heirloom, meaning the lightsaber. So Lop and Ocho engage in a battle. At one point, it looks like Lop has taken care of Ocho, but no. Ocho survives. She actually flies away on a TIE fighter, and now it's up to Lop to carry on the family legacy. Now, what did I think of this episode? I'll be honest. My first thought, I was thinking, we're getting a furry episode, but then, I had to remind myself, remember, Chewbacca and the Wookiees, they're not the only furry alien creatures, alien life in the world of Star Wars, so it is believable that there'd be other alien races throughout Star Wars. It's been proven throughout other incarnations of Star Wars that there are other alien races besides the Wookiees that are, not only animals, but, they also have fur. So I told myself to give it a chance, and I ended up enjoying this episode. The main reason why I ended up enjoying this episode is due to the fact that the message in this episode was about family. It doesn't matter if your family is blood or not. Family is family. It's all about family. Okay, that's a very bad Vin Diesel impression. But I think you all get the gist of what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to relay to all of you. Is that this episode was about family, and how even if one side of the family chooses to go the opposite direction of the other, there's still somebody there in the family who's trying to hold everything together. I really enjoyed this episode. You know, so far there's only been, you know, the twins, Tatooine Rhapsody, and also TOB1 are the episodes that you've heard my review on. You've heard my review on this. I really enjoyed this episode. Those other 3 episodes, as you know, I didn't really care for, but this episode I really liked. I really enjoyed it. One more episode to review, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. Right now, it's a one it's a 1 run lead if I'm gonna throw in baseball, especially wearing this Cubs shirt. Even though it is Star Wars themed, I'll just lean back so you can see it. And it's a 1 run lead. So either at the end of all of it, there's gonna be a split of episodes I liked, episodes I didn't like, or it's gonna favor one side or the other. We'll find out. We'll find out in the next episode of Pacific414 episode review. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this episode. The previous reviews for Star Wars Visions, I really appreciate that. And I do want to say I am planning on doing a live stream giving my overall impressions of Star Wars Visions. So that'll be sometime. I'll announce it on social media. Speaking of social media, you can click on any of the links down in the description below if you wish to follow me on social media. And if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down. Share this video with your friends and subscribe to the Pacific414 YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you all later. Take care.